Hi everyone, it's Jerry. LeelaQueenOdds played against Hikaru Nakamura in Bullet. 1-0 time control. 5 games played on March 26th. We're going to have a look at each here in real time. Nakamura's handle on lichess, GamingWarlord. Pretty much an inactive account, only recently logging in to try and tackle this beast. I love seeing the top players try and handle these odds bots. I'm going to try to provide some commentary as these games are playing through. Super fast paced to be sure. All right, here we go. This here, game 1. Let's see how it goes. So a focus very early on this e4 square space on the king side, and even more space on the king side here. Super invasive pawn, a case of opposite sides castles, looking to open up the position. Super locked. We have this clamp down here. Now this idea of pushing the pawn here. Not a single exchange. Now you don't see the move count. We're 20 moves in. Not a single exchange until right there to safeguard this d6 pawn. And white is ready to now go after it, increase the pressure there. Have all this stuff coiled up here. Will that h-file spring open? A fianchettoed knight. Bishop may be ready to go in like that. Nice defensive move with the bishop. This file will now not open up the h-file with this pawn pretty much fixed. Nice move there to block down this diagonal. Nakamura crashing through. Clock situation, 26 seconds to do it. Leela with 38, call it. Yeah, this one is... Yeah, there's plenty of time in the tank here. It's simply collapsing. Once Leela doesn't have both rooks, a couple bishops, I've noticed that it just goes down for the count pretty quickly. And that one there ending in checkmate. A 50 mover there for game 1. Moving on to game 2. All right, Leela this time with the white pieces. So in that first one, Nakamura had the odds and the move there. So early space, see this time and time again. Invasive d-pawn. The king doing a little dance here, defending f2. Open lines here, invasive d5 pawn. Position opening up, the rook is opposite the queen. Ducking the exchange. This is a common strategy, of course, just trying to simplify the position. It's not always so easy, though. Preventing a4 breaking down this structure, the knight would spring to life. H-file ready to be peeled open, loves the h-pawn play. Problem here with the bishop, and knight has to find a new square. Light square bishop nearby. Okay, f5, we have an open f-file, so nearby there's going to be a knight f5 move. Only 33 seconds for Nakamura. Tricky piece to work around, the knight on f5, but it has simplified a bit. Reinforcing the rook. King, I guess this is the safest ground. It is pretty fixed over here, but it is now simplifying. You get at least one knight off, and this point is now collapsing. 3 attackers you could already take here, safeguarding this first. B3 pawn down for the count. Pressure here. This is officially collapsing here for Leela. No tricks here against the black king, and the mop-up phase. Knight sweeping in, clock, 12, 11 seconds only for Nakamura, but yeah, plenty of time. Yeah, there we go. And you just have to watch out for stalemate at this point. Checkmate on board with 6 seconds remaining there. Okay, game number 3. Here we go. Team Black here, Leela. So far, so good. The first 2 games. Cagey start. With these small little pawn moves. Once more, we're seeing this very early advance there with the g-pawn. Invasive. Potential tricks there. Okay, that's a dangerous pawn to take. Got that open file. Potential tricks on the g2 point. Bishop, rook pointing at that square. Has the bishop pair, still has the rooks. Possible jump here on f3. Queen now defends against that. Ready to scare the knight away. Bishop potentially on this diagonal, and h-pawn here. Still with these Pieces around, deadly pieces. Possible tricks here, maybe there. Crashing through on e2. Okay, it's starting to get a bit messy there. Queen is down for the count. 2 knights, though. Advantage still at this point. 2 knights. Yeah, two clean knights. Pawns are balanced here. And clock situation, 22 seconds only. This pawn is ready to fall. Okay. This pawn is getting pretty far, just a step away from promoting, but things are still under control here for Team White. 1 base point to watch over. Here on c7, Leela got a passer here, just try and disrupt this rook. 2 connected passers. It is getting messy. Under 10 seconds only for Nakamura. And he has officially slipped up, allowing this rook to get to the back rank and that pawn to promote in the time pressure. So that was a 56 mover. Moving on now. Here's game 4. All right, here we go. Leela with white this time around. They keep alternating colors with these games. Super early, invasive pawn. Giving up a center. Giving up a center pawn. Now there's already some problems here with the bishop. Not ideal. You start to wonder about the bishop getting trapped. Takes g4. Squashed. Okay. Looks like he's headed for a queenside castle. Far away from this guy here. These maneuvers with the knights. Okay, that's a fancy maneuver right there. Netting the bishop here. It's going to be down for the count. When exactly to take it? Okay. Once more. Trying to duck exchanges here. Still has the bishop pair and the rooks. Scary here. Maybe if... yeah. There might have been this idea. Okay, bishop g2. Covering that f3 square. If castle's too soon, this here could have sparked a bunch of exchanges. Big center. Still scary, though, with these pieces around. Covering these light squares. That's a dangerous battery. Rook under fire. Doesn't budge. Swipes the knight. White is in a pin here. Big problem for the knight. It could move and defend a2, but yeah. Nakamura clearly pressing. Trying to... Okay, we get this simplification now. Bishop takes. Nakamura is up a rook at this point. Has to now go... Leela has to go into babysitter mode. Barely any tricks left for Leela. 14 seconds for Nakamura. Pretty close there on the clock. Ducking that last exchange. Time and time again. We got a check. Avoiding the rook exchange again. And there's a skewer. Winning the rook. Leela is back in business. Up on the clock. And at this point, it's looking like it is a winner at this point. Fought back once more in the time pressure. This one is knotted. And we go on to the rubber match. Game 5. Knotted up here, 2-2. All right, last one. Let's see how this goes. Seeing a pattern. I know it's just bullet chess, but you can still take these little things away. These wild G-pawn advances. Take down the pawn? Yeah. We got an open file to work with. Okay, Leela is down a lot of material. Rook down for the count. Where's this king going? Looks like a complete disaster this game here for Leela. One good thing here is this arrangement right here kind of holds up the queenside development. How to get rid of this pawn, how to complete development there. Knight is not yet out of the woods. Once more rook pawn at any point. Note the timing. We're not right away capturing. Best to hold that position right there. Pesky knight. Couple invasive pawns. Bishops are still around. Tricky knight here. Possible check on d4 just gets rid of the knight. Giving up some material. Breaking things down. We got 3 connected passers over here. These pawns are ready to march. Can you get one more piece off? Really tricky. Look at how all the effort that was required to get that final exchange in there, and the coast is almost certainly clear from here. Actually, there was a mate in one threat right there. I think 99% of players would have fallen for that mate in one. Did you catch that? 99% of players would have fallen for that. Nakamura not in the 99% there. And the coast is clear. 5 seconds, just enough gas in the tank. No stalemates to worry about with that little step ladder in the end. Just going back, Nakamura taking this one, final game. How many of you would have fallen for this? Where was it at? Right here, right here. Bishop to h5. That was a mate in one threat. How many of you might have pre-moved right here? Game over. And he recognized that really quick. What, 0.9 seconds? Didn't let that happen. Yeah. All right, quite the battle. 3-2. Now, what's next? Are we going to see Nakamura try and tackle Leela Knight odds in bullet? How do you think that's going to go? If they played a group of 10 games, what's the score there? My vote, that's a 10-0. Leela wins. Maybe gets away with the draw with some silly repetition, but that would be super impressive to win a single game out of 10 in 1-0 time control against Leela Knight odds. We'll see if that actually happens. Anyhow, what are your thoughts on this one here? Always fun to see, again, the top players try and tackle these monsters. Anyhow, feel free, as usual, to leave any feedback to this video in the comment section below. Hope you enjoyed it, and maybe took a thing or two away. That's all for now. Take care.